Hello everyone and welcome to another Pokemon Pocket video. We're now a fair few days into the new expansion with a lot of new decks popping up, and today on stream I thought I would try one I saw from yesterday's Day tournament, which is Sunday. This is Monday I'm recording this. This was the second place list. First place went to a Dark Tina deck, I believe, but second place was the Sylveon Espeon sort of combo. And for a card that a lot of people didn't have much faith in, Espeon EX, it's proven to be quite powerful. Now, just to give you a sort of idea of how well this run went, I was actually, I think, 1450. I was basically at the beginning of Master Ball as soon as I hit it, when I started the stream, and when I ended it, as you can see here, we are in the top 3,000. I was even higher, but we lost like 2 games in a row or 3 games in a row at the end. But this is a very, very powerful deck, or at least it feels like it right now, because you can kind of just stomp through a lot of different matchups. You have game against Oricorio, you have even game against the likes of Charizard, unless you low roll and they high roll, of course, as always. But this deck can kind of go toe-to-toe with almost anything right now, so I thought I'd just give it a whirl. It worked out super well, as you can see, so let's take a look at the deck and see what makes it so different. We see here, of course, 2 Sylveon. Who would have thought an EV deck with 2 Sylveon? We run the 4 EVs. This one is at, oh, I can't click it, but I'll just go through it anyway. I really wish you could click there. We run the 2 EVs that draw specifically a Pokemon instead of the older ones that draw a card, because again, we generally just want to draw the evolutions. And then the sort of spice is the 2 Espeon EX, which has a lot of potential heal power as well as decent damage. But then there's 1 regular Sylveon for the higher damage outputs when you need to that 130, 140 kind of damage potentially. And then we have the 1 regular Espeon. Now, although this 1 regular Espeon is not some kind of powerhouse that is going to win you 1,000 games, it's another good tool against Oricorio decks. It's also just a 1 energy attack, which is a rarity in this list, because the biggest frustration or problem with this deck is that other than Espeon now, all of the evolutions cost 2 energy. They also all cost 1 energy to retreat, which can sometimes make the deck feel a little bit clunky. This Espeon can actually handle that okay, or help out and being a little bit easier to clear. The rest of the deck is the 2 Pokeball 2 Research, of course. There's only 1 EV bag in this list, 1 Cape, which can be clutch in a lot of matchups, but especially the Charizard one, so you can put it on one of the 140 health evolutions. And then there's the 1 Sabrina, 1 Silver, 1 Cyrus in there as well. And I think I mentioned the red card, but there's a red card in there, with a very common combination being red card into Silver, to then basically give your opponent probably only 2 cards in their hand. So the idea overall is just start rotating the evolutions. In the best possible world, you want the Espeon EXs to be the ones fighting and then healing and then fighting and so on. And then you have these regular Sylveon, regular Espeon for extra damage if needed. And of course, Sylveon EX can still fight pretty decent. One key trick you do need to know though, if you have an Espeon with 2 energy in the front and you have an Espeon with 1 energy in the back, you can heal it or heal something, retreat, put the other Espeon in, put an energy on, heal again with the Espeon EX ability. I'm going to mix those up a lot just to see you can hear. So a lot of the time with this deck, you end up getting into a position where you have an Espeon, you heal and attack, and then the next turn you retreat, you heal, retreat that one, put the other one in, heal, then attack. Then the turn after, heal, retreat that one, put the other one in, heal, and attack. And maybe I'll get to show you in these games we are going to play, because we are going to play some. But the heal power, when you can start cycling them both, is pretty strong. And it can be enough to win you a lot of games. So yeah, the deck's done really well. It got second place, as I said. I played it today and went from literally very beginning of Master Ball to top 3,000. And I think I could have continued if I just streamed longer, I guess, but we'll see how we go. Maybe we climb here. So yeah, we are going to check it out. I'm going to play 3 games in a row. No cutting, no crazy stuff. It's just going to be 3 honest games. If we lose all 3, we lose all 3. If we win all 3, fantastic. But yeah, guys, check it out. Okay, let's get into game number 1. I will, of course, talk about how the matchups go, or how I feel they go overall. One of the hardest matchups I've found so far is Donphan, because it's pretty fast and obviously hits your EVs pretty hard. We are going second, and we don't have a lot of evolutions, so I will start with the small EV. I've been asked this a little bit today, where it's like, when do you start with the EVEX, when do you start with the regular? And I think a lot of it is what your hand looks like. If we were going second, and these two cards were like Sylveon EX, Espeon EX, I would have started the big one, because then on our first turn we can attack for 30, then evolve and attack for, you know, 70 or 80 depending. Whereas because we don't have any good evolutions, like there's this Espeon which is fine, but not at this stage in the game, then we do want to be a little bit slower here. We are going to see the Pichu Darkrai. I haven't faced this too much. This is going to help ramp the Darkrai, but they don't have anything else in the back as well. So there's no, I think this is normally run with Sylveon. Sylveon. I'm going to do this all day. Sylvally. So we'll see how it goes. Our draw was pretty bad here. Overall, because, well, it's not bad. We have the EVs, and normally you want all 4 down, of course. But we do have Silver, so we can take a little bit of a peek at the hand. Because even though we can't knock out the Pichu this turn, Gladion... Oh, well, they already have Sylvally. So let's take away the Gladion, because they can't Cyrus us anyway. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so we would love to normally, like, if we won this Eevee, we could knock out this Pichu and start pressuring. However, although this helps ramp Darkrai, it still needs minimum 2 Dark Energy. So it's not the end of the world as of yet. We'll see how it goes. We do heal pretty well versus Darkrai, and we did get Sylveon. Probably the best pull, because although Espeon, we want Espeon up front, the Sylveon, as you've probably noticed since Sylveon came out, can then draw you into more cards, that can draw more cards, that then gets us another Sylveon. So we are weirdly very likely to draw Espeon by drawing this Sylveon right now. So we know that we actually threw away the Gladion here, so they are going to drop the Null. They're going to ramp again, probably over to Null. So this is where things get a little bit spicy. We do have 2 cards here. We will start with Sylveon, though. Because also, there is just 3 energy on the board right now, so even this normal Espeon is becoming a bit of a threat. Pokeball, but useless. Okay, this is looking a little bit rough. Not really what we're after. Does this Sylveon do anything for us? Oh, this is actually very rough. What's the best plan here? This is a really tricky situation. Let's get rid of this Pokeball. If we go Espeon, we're knocked out. If we go we could retreat into this Sylveon. Do we just give this away? Maybe we give it away. Let's build up this, and this is going to be a tricky game. Really, we really wanted an Espeon by now. We do get it, but it's going to be a bit too late, unfortunately. So we'll see how this one goes. They're probably going to hold the Darkrai in the back and retreat out the Pichu, maybe. There's Sylvally. They almost certainly have a... Well, they can naturally knock out the EV, actually, because Sylvally does 50 base. This is a little bit of... Like, imagine what we would look like here if we'd had the Sylveon... Espeon. It would be a 120 health Espeon. We would have knocked out the... it would have been full health, because we would have healed. 140 health. It takes 100, but then we could heal back up again and do some shenanigans. So, unfortunately, we're a little bit slow here. We didn't really want to draw Espeon too late, but... It is what it is. Here we are. Here's the other Espeon, of course. Now, the slight issue we have is we are weak to Dark. So this Darkrai is going to hit us quite hard. And this is where things can get a little bit spicy. Wait, did I just mess up? I did mess up. I've thrown this game. We should have put this Sylveon in, and then we knock out the Sylvally, and then we can try and do something there. But I guess we're just going to have to see how it goes. I'm even going to wait with this Sylveon. Sometimes the deck can be pretty tricky to play, because a lot of it relies on what you can draw and when you can draw it. So we hit this with Cybolt here. And we are also an energy behind. And this is what I was talking about, where the energy can get difficult to manage, because if we add another Espeon with an energy on, we can do the retreat cycle heals that we want to do. However, we don't have that energy, so it's actually really tough. So this is for sure where things are going to get a bit tricky here. So we are going to heal. I think we're going to go for a giant cape, because we're going to be a bit adventurous, I think, here. And then, so they have effectively 120 damage. Oy, I don't know if we can win this. Yeah, I don't think we can win this. I think we just concede and get out. That was a rough one. I did, however, make a mistake. So that was my fault. But really, a lot of that came down to just we had the one edge on the front EV, and we could not get hold of an Espeon. Bit of a rough start. That is probably the hardest matchup, at least that I've come across, because they've got the aggression of the Sylveon that sort of chomps evolutions pretty quick. If you don't get a handle on it, and also the Darkrai naturally sort of beats up Espeon. So we'll see if we have better luck in the next couple of games. Okay, let's go into game 2. Let's hopefully not get one of the hardest matchups for the deck. And it's Psychic Energy. Okay, this could be a mirror, and mirrors get a little bit funky. There's a couple of ways to win the mirror, assuming that both players draw evenly. But one thing I think is just correct, you need to save an EEVEE for the regular Sylveon, because Sylveon plus bag, or even if they're damaged, can actually delete an evolution, which is really good. However, this looks like it's actually going to be Giratina Greninja, a true pain in my ass, to be honest. This deck is really annoying to fight, although because we're going second, there's a possibility that this is okay, because we do suffer a bit. It's just one of those decks, it's not fun going first. We're going second, we can get some work done. So already this opening hand, not too bad. We have double Pokeball, which thins the EVs out of the deck, which is really nice and gives us options. However, there's an option here to do something silly. We do not deal well if they tempo Sabrina us, right? It sucks. So, we're going to be very stupid and not do anything and just draw a card. We are probably going to get red carded, we are probably going to get Marsed or something, but I just want to show you some of the things you have to think about. Because if I play an EEVEE and they Sabrina us, then this EEVEE's got no energy and this one's got 1. And then we need to put 1 energy on, which so we don't get to attack again. So we are going to chill this turn. It's a risk. And this might actually make my video look really bad if we go 0-3 or something because of this play. However, it is important, I think, to just let you guys know, there's red card, to be aware of these things, right? And these options that the deck has, because the deck isn't easy to pilot. We got small Sylveon and EEVEE, so it basically went as poorly as it could have gone. And they have the combo. So this is the reason to not do this. But again, if they had Sabrina, we'd be in a really bad spot as well. And of course, they just have the nuts. It is what it is. Whereas if we get Espeon, or even Sylveon at this point, we knock out this Froakie that they've given the energy to, which is a bit surprising. I wonder if they're just playing Psychic. And instead we get double of this. Okay. So we could go the other way here. So I could retreat this and put an energy on the front one, because they can't attack us. They don't have the energy. They don't have a... I'm not sure if they're running both or if it's just Psychic. So I'm actually going to retreat this EEVEE. Put this one in. And then we're just going to... This is a scrappy game because of my decision. But again, I think it's important to let you guys know the options you have of playing. So now we have Sylveon, which is really good. And as you can see, imagine if they just didn't have exactly that combo to just blitz us. Or imagine if we just, instead of this Sylveon, we just drew any of the EXs. We're just winning at that point. So even though it looked bad, and you can all laugh at me in the comments, it's fine. I think it was worth the risk, because if we just hit a Sylveon or an Espeon EX, I think we're just good, honestly. Oh, there's the water, so they are playing both. Okay. And now they're going to do the Cyrus thing. This is why this deck is a giant pain in the ass. But it's okay. We can still manage this, I think. Okay, it's not too bad. We can put this Sylveon here. Because this is the one with energy on it, right? We can draw 2. Now, for example, there's discussions of like, should we be running an X speed? Or even, weirdly enough, for these weird situations like a Dawn, but an X speed would basically do the same thing. You can 100% run X speed in this deck. I don't really know what you'd cut because this deck has worked really well for me, but you could if you wanted to. We are going to heal this because if they knock this EV out, we don't... Well, we kind of care. But I also don't... If they pull this in with another Cyrus, if they then choose to not knock it out, then we don't have good retreat options. So I actually think I'm just going to chill. Because they're still on low cards. I'll probably say that, and now they'll play Professor's Research or something. Pokeball to Giratina, probably. But to the other Wait, they're filling the slot for the other EEVEE. Interesting. Okay. Oh, and they're just trying to poke this down. That's fine. It's a little bit surprising because they're just not trying to like deal with Espeon's healing. And also, we could just do funny things with like heals and stuff now. So, okay, well now I can just meme on them a little bit here. So we can go Sylveon. Again, just keep cycling. You do have to remember, you need certain spaces. A second Espeon EX is going to be nice. We don't have the EEVEE though. We can attach. And then we heal this Espeon, because Espeon's probably our most important Pokemon on the board right now, because Sylveon's kind of done their jobs, right? And then we could actually, because we're going to overkill this Greninja probably anyway, we could just push out this and just try and make this as awkward as possible for them now. Again, a little bit annoying because this has damage on it. However, we just want to be as safe as possible, because if they Cyrus this Sylveon in again, it's going to get really annoying. It's why this deck's a real pain to deal with. But you can start to see what we want to do, right? Which is cycle heals, put pressure on, and start just blitzing these Pokemon. They are going to Cyrus this, aren't they? No. It's a bit scary because this is probably going to draw them their Sylveon. Oh, we could red card that away now, since we know it's a Pokemon, right? Okay, so let's heal over here onto this Sylveon. And now, because we don't have the other Espeon set up, we're going to put 1 energy on everything. So we've got that retreat option. And I am just going to red card this away. Because I know they've drawn a Pokemon. They could, because they've not played much, they could have a rare candy in hand. They could have, you know, some other stuff. I don't want them to have Pokemon right now because I want to just blitz them. So we're going to do this. We're going to take the first point. It's a bit of a slow, weird game. We both kind of got off to a slow start. But you can see the value of potentially adding an X speed to the list, because if we get Tempo Sabrina or Tempo Cyrus from Greninja, we are in trouble, right? It does create awkward situations to deal with. However, if we find our 4th EEVEE, we could be in a really good spot instead. So they got Pokeball to get Pokemon. It's going to be basic. There's Giratina, no problem. So we just want them to not have Silvally now. Or second Greninja. That also kind of sucks. And by Sylvally, I mean Sylveon. I am going to always mix those two up. And they're going to start ramping. Okay. The good thing here, though, is we have Cyrus in our deck. And we've already drawn a lot of our cards. And if they let us knock this EEVEE out, we're in a really good spot. Okay. And there's Cyrus. Perfect. So we're going to put Cape here. We're going to, like, I don't know, I guess, like, act like we need to defend, but we are already in a fantastic position now. And this is the huge thing, because this deck runs Cyrus and Sabrina. And because we draw so many cards because of double Sylveon, double Professor's Research, I'm sure you've all seen this plenty of times, you can make plans even early in the game to say, okay, I'll set this up so then I can Cyrus Sabrina or Sabrina Cyrus or just Cyrus, because you are just so likely to draw it before the game ends because we just draw a billion cards. Like you have turns from like turn 2 where you go in Research, Sylveon, and you've just drawn your whole deck basically. So you can pretty reliably play with plans to like Cyrus stuff in mind. Obviously we've got to be a little bit afraid of Silver and so on, but they've already done, what did they do? Yeah, they must have done red card Silver early in the game, right? That was this game, wasn't it? Yeah. So they do their little tickles. They're going to try and ramp up this Giratina again, ready to knock us out. But they've not actually knocked anything out yet relevant. So we are going to have our EEVEE. Don't ask me why I just played that. Now they probably think I'm BMing. I just naturally play the EEVEEs onto the thing, but we have this now. So we can Cyrus in this Greninja. And yeah, the sustain from Espeon really makes those Greninjas. They're annoying because they can Cyrus, but the damage from Greninjas, like 20 here and there, isn't so bad if you've got Espeon sort of reducing that down. But they basically need 2 Greninjas to deal 10 damage a turn, if they don't split them a lot of the time. So yeah, not bad. Game number 2. Managed to not go 0-3 today. Okay, final game. I'm not going to lie. I'd love to go 2-1. But let's see how it goes. Oh, we've got Electric now. Okay. Not the best opening. We do have Pokeball for another EEVEE. We are going second, which is both good and bad to an extent because they have Zeraora, as we now can see. This can be a little bit spicy. If they have Giovanni, I'm going to be a little bit afraid, I'm not going to lie. This is where we want like a Silver turn 1. Says Thunderclap. We've got, worst case, we've got Sylveon. The problem again, and it's all about this retreating, is we have to play this EEVEE, right? And we almost certainly have to put energy here. Because if you could think, oh, well, you could put energy on the back. So if they Giovanni the EEVEE, then you just swoop in with Sylveon. That's a great plan, but any reasonably good player, if I energy this, they just won't knock this EEVEE out until they have other stuff set up, right? So we unfortunately, it would be better if these were the other way around, right? If we had this big EEVEE to start, and this is why there's no set reasoning for like in every game you want to start the draw EEVEE instead of the EX. It depends on the matchup. So we are gonna get another EEVEE, which is fine, not a big deal. I would have loved Silver though. There's Oricorio. We do have this Sylveon sort of lot loaded, ready to go. And they have the Giovanni. Yeah, bloody nightmare. This is maybe not giving you a good display because normally, believe it or not, we actually crush this matchup normally. But they've got off to a perfect start, which is unfortunate. If we had the EEVEE EX in the front, this wouldn't be anywhere near the same level of problem. Okay, so we'll draw it again. So we go EEVEE. And then this is where things get a little bit spicy. I pretty much have to play the Sylveon here, which kind of sucks. Okay. Then we have... do I want to... I could Sabrina to try and slow this down. So they have to spend an energy. Which probably seems fine. Again, if we could get an Espeon and do something there, that would have been nice. But because we lost this front EEVEE, we're basically a turn behind. Maybe I should have just said, put the energy on this EEVEE EX and say, if you want to leave this up, fine. It gives me more time to pile energy on. That was, in hindsight, probably correct. But it can get a little bit difficult, honestly. It's hard to make the decisions, because with this deck, if you slip once, it's a little bit hard to come back. Although it is possible. Now, are they going to blow this energy to retreat? Oh, they have... Okay, they have X speed. That's even worse. Yeah, so this is really rough. So we can EEVEE bag above the Silvally. So we probably are going to do that. Let's see what they have. They have Silver, Gladion, Mars. We probably don't care too much about the Mars. I'm going to have to put the energy here. We're going to have to go energy bag here. EV bag, sorry, to heal. Now, again, if this was Espeon and we had Espeon available, Espeon plus the EV bag actually knocks out Zeraora. So we could do something there. And I think I am going to commit this Sylveon because we need it to take down the Oricorio. You also, just so you guys know, if you have double Espeon EX, you can, and they're set up energy-wise, you can like infinite heal against an Oricorio. So they literally can't win. So that is a strategy you can go for if you've got the time. Or if you're waiting to get hold of this Sylveon or something like that. It is possible. Because they can only deal 50 and you can heal for 60 every turn. So they're going to hit me again, which puts me in the danger zone. There is Espeon. So this is going to have to happen. We may as well draw. And the problem is now, I think, unfortunately, because they had the Giovanni, I think we just slip away now is the problem. Because this is the issue, right? I just can't get the energy. Because I don't want to say we wasted an energy. Maybe we did. I guess that's probably an accurate way to state it. But because we lost an energy, let's say, early on because of the Giovanni on Zeraora, if we had one more energy right now, this Espeon would attack. This Sylveon would have one. Next turn, we could maybe put one on this Sylveon, and so on, right? Oh, they have Cyrus. Okay, fair enough. Unfortunately, that is going to be game, so we did just go 1-2. Some rough games, some rough outcomes. We had probably our worst matchup game 1, and then we had a Zeraora perfect curve into Giovanni game 3, which was a little bit unfortunate. However, I hope it gave you at least a decent idea of what the deck can do. And like I said, you can check my VOD from today. It's the 4th of August. I literally went from like 1450 Master Ball all the way up to, well, we just lost that. But we basically gained like, what, a few hundred points in one session, which is pretty decent. The win rate was good. We had some good win streaks in there as well. And we're still at, I think, what, 3,500, 4,000 or something? Let's have a little look. Yeah, we're still on, top 3.3k, right? It's definitely not bad, even though we lost a couple of games there. But yeah, I really recommend the deck. You could try next speed, you could try another cape, you could maybe play a red if you're worried about the mirror matchup, which can get a bit memey as well. It's a shame we didn't get one. But yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that this deck does very, very well. And I know there are a lot of like, Espeon, just Evolution, Sylveon fans in general. So yeah, make sure you give it a try. If you do give it a try, let me know in the comments. I also love a like on the video, and my YouTube keeps shouting at me that apparently most of you aren't subscribed to my channel that watch the videos, so I would appreciate if you could. It doesn't really cost anything. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.